Alright, so before I start this video, I just wanted to show you guys these carburetors here. This is a Zama RB style carburetor. And this is what's found on like the Echo SRM 210. It's the older style with the adjustment here, and it does not actually have the slot here with the two nuts that hold the cable on. This carburetor can be found on Amazon for around $25 as a kit with an air filter, a couple extra primer bulbs, fuel filter, fuel lines, 2 grommets. So the carburetor that was on the Shindaiwa was actually a TK7 carburetor, and this carburetor retails for $100 at the Shindaiwa dealership, and that's how much I could find it for online too. I could find it for $42 American, but they would not ship to Canada. If you look, you can see this looks just like an old style of this newer Zama carburetor. They look very similar. As a matter of fact, the mounting holes are the same. They're the same distance apart. And if you look, you can see on the Zama, this is for the pulse line. It has a hole here and a hole here. And when the gasket covers it, it actually just so happens that the hole lines up perfectly with here, and it'll pulse into the carburetor. On this one, the pulse hole is just here. Now this carburetor is non-adjustable. It had a small metal brass ball bearing that was actually punched in there. I drilled it out in an attempt to get to the adjustment screw because this carburetor would not work properly and it did need to be adjusted. But after I got through the ball bearing, there was epoxy inside of there. I drilled through the epoxy, heated up a Allen key because that's what size it is. It's an Allen key, it's not a flathead in there. And I went to adjust it and I couldn't get it to budge. They must have Loctited or epoxied the screw in as well. So inside of here, under the metering diaphragm, is the main jet, and I have a small set of hand screws or drills bits that are very tiny for enlarging jets. And I attempted to enlarge it. I enlarged it one size too big and it still would not run right. And the idle circuit seemed to have the most problems. After I drilled out the main jet, it would never idle. It would only run at full throttle. But after I drilled out the jet, when you gave it full throttle, it was just way too much fuel and there was no way to actually adjust it. If I could move that needle down somewhat, it would have been just fine. So with this carburetor, you can actually mount it up on these older Shindaiwa trimmers, and I'll show you the new carburetor from Amazon that was $24.99, and I don't think there was any sales tax on it either. That I actually got today. I put it on and it works just fine, and I'll show you that now. Okay, so here's the Shindaiwa HomePro F222. It's a 23.9 cc engine, and they don't make this trimmer anymore. It's a curved shaft, which is somewhat unfortunate. It has a speed feed head on it, which actually says Shindaiwa on it. This trimmer is from 2008 and it's in really good condition. So with the carburetor, I actually swapped it out for an Echo SRM 210. I can show you here. It will mount up and work perfectly fine. It's an air filter. If you look in this hole here, you can see an adjustment screw. There's also the typical high-speed adjustment screw found down here. If I can show you that. Yep. And it works really good with this carburetor. The Venturi is slightly smaller, but it does not cause any performance issues at all. These Chinese carburetors, something that I like about them is they really prime up nicely and they seem to work pretty nice, and they have no emissions features on them, which I really do like, because you never know, like in a few years you may need to adjust the carburetor, or even after first getting the carburetor you might have to adjust it for your altitude. And with the factory carburetors, they plug up those holes, which is kind of pointless. Yes, I know there's strict emissions laws in the States. Here where I live in Ontario, we don't even have automotive emissions requirements, but I have heard that now they're starting to stop people that do not have catalytic converters on their cars and do exhaust mods. I'm not one of those people, but why would you take away the emissions laws? They just did this a couple years ago or a year ago, and then now ticket people for that, and I heard that the fines are pretty hefty. Anyways, let's start up this trimmer so you can hear it run. It runs really good. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.